Okay, that really hurt my ears. And some confetti. Woo! Little more confetti. We know how much your kids love the confetti. So I'm saving some so that we can use it throughout the experience. But we are absolutely thrilled to have you here. Oh my goodness, now it's collecting everywhere. So glad you're here live. Yesterday, we revealed the Dart and the Arrow. Those books are for kids between the ages of 8 and 12. So if you missed those, we have a live replay. Well, I don't know if it's live, but we have a replay that works that is on Facebook. And then we will have another one that is available to you on our blog through the YouTube channel. So be ready for that. But the book lists are already available in our store. So inside the chat in both Facebook and Zoom, we have staff members who are going to post links so that you can see the Dart and the Arrow book lists if you want to look at them now or find them later. Today is focused specifically on the Boomerang for ages 13 and 14 and a brand new program that we call Slingshot for 15 to 18-year-olds. So before we get started, I want to tell you about a really important partnership that Brave Writer has created during the month of June, and then we'll get right into the book reveal. So in the last year, during 2020, we had a banner year. We had families coming to us who were from public school, private school, charter schools, in addition to our homeschool audience. And because of that, Brave Writer exploded in growth, like we were hanging on by our fingernails, right? So at the end of the year, we've been looking for ways to give back. And we created with some of those proceeds what we call the Brave Learner Fund. That fund is set up here in Cincinnati, and we are using it as a way to support equity in education around reading and writing, and in particular, online reading and writing services. Those are our three big values: equity in education, reading and writing, online learning. I mean, that makes sense, right? That's really who we are. So we have already partnered with one project earlier in the year to get Wi-Fi hotspots into neighborhoods with people who are at risk for not having homes, who are housing insecure. This June, we've decided to partner with an organization called Summer Camp Reading. Summer Camp Reading. In fact, when they first told me the name of their organization, they said to me, Julie, not summer school reading, summer camp reading. We want kids to have fun and to fall in love with books. Well, that was music to my ears. This organization sets up camps for those who are in under-resourced neighborhoods. They are giving books to second, third, and fourth graders. Sometimes it's the first book these kids ever own. They do reading and writing activities. They are led by skilled professionals who can do interventions if these children have learning challenges. And they've got 16 sites locally. They have an expansion in Columbus, Ohio, and they are growing their online presence. So when I heard about this camp, we offered to partner with their current fundraiser. They are looking for $29,000 to revitalize their online learning platform, to redo their website, and to fund their overall mission. Brave Learner Fund is contributing $15,000 to that project. We would like to throw it out to you to contribute the rest. I'd like it if Brave Writer could just take care of this need, right? So we have all of June to do it, June 1st through June 30th. If you go to bravewriter.com/donation, you'll be taken to the blog page where we have the donation link. Any amount of money is helpful. $1, $5, $50, whatever you feel comfortable giving. It is a tax deductible donation, so you will receive the tax deductible receipt from them at the end of the year. Cindy, my partner, one of my staff members, and I are going to go visit on June 23rd, and we will do a little tour and share photos and Instagram stories. But this is a project we're excited about, and we would absolutely love to have you join us in that effort. We want to do good locally, not just globally, and that's why we're doing this in Cincinnati, where Brave Writer is headquartered. Thanks for helping us. Okay, so that is big news. The second piece of information I want to share then is, what is the Boomerang and the Slingshot? Each year, we encourage you to think about writing in 3 ways. There is writing that is the physical transcription act. There are the thoughts in your head that you want to get down in writing. And then there are writing assignments or projects that bring the thoughts in your head together with your transcription skills. We call those writing projects. Brave Writer has programs devoted to each of those kinds of aspects of writing. Today, we're talking about transcription, and we use living literature to achieve our goals in better transcription skills, which includes punctuation, grammar, spelling, and literary devices. Now, at the Boomerang and Slingshot level, which is high school, your kids aren't as needy, right? They already know how to type and handwrite. They probably know how to capitalize and punctuate, basic spelling, and all those things that they rely on to communicate. Sure, they have some room for growth, but like, don't we all? Are you always wondering when to use a semicolon? So are your teens. So in the Boomerang and Slingshot, we address those pesky punctuation situations. We help you learn about complicated spellings or complex grammar, but we also spend more energy on literary analysis. One of the key features inside the Boomerang and the Slingshot are 2 boxes. One we call the inside scoop, and the other one that we call beyond the passage. So the inside scoop might give you a detail that's about the author or a current event that coincides with the publication of the book. Beyond the passage is going to help you understand the larger context for the storyline or the themes or the issues. So you can depend on Brave Writer to have done deep research. Our team of writers spend so many hours doing the due diligence that you don't have time for. So whether or not you teach everything in the Boomerang or Slingshot is not really the point. The point is everything you could want to teach will be available to you there as a shortcut. So you don't have to think to yourself, okay, I'm looking at this book, but I really don't know what it's about, and I don't know how to explore the themes. We've done that work for you. We've put it inside the Boomerang and the Slingshot, and then you're able to take that information with your teen and, go to Starbucks, get a cafe latte, sit and chat. The best way to grow literary analysis is through what? Who knows? Who's been around Brave Writer? Who knows? Anyone? I want to see if you can stick it in the chat. What grows our learning fastest? That's right. Big, juicy conversations, the BJC. Absolutely. So we give you think piece questions, questions that provoke deeper reflection, not just comprehension like, on what date did this event happen, but provoking a deeper reflection that is best expressed in conversation, in free writing, in journaling. Okay, so those are the products. So what are we doing today? We are going to look at the book lists. Now, for the Boomerang level, there are 10 books. We start in August, and then we go August, September, October, all the way till May. The Slingshot level, however, these books are a little meatier. They have substantial themes. They deserve more attention. So we only have 5 Slingshots, and those will start in September. So they'll go every other month until May. And the reason for that is we want you to have adequate time to read other books if you want to, and to go into a deep dive for these. Not only that, we also hope that you will purchase them in combination with Help for High School. Help for High School is our teen-centered manual that teaches critical thinking and expository essay writing. So here's how it works. If you purchase either the Boomerang or the College Prep Bundle, which includes Slingshot and Help for High School, you will automatically be added to the Brave Learner Home for free for a lifetime, normally $198 a year. So this is a huge benefit to you. We have coaches, community, webinar trainings to help you be successful. Not only that, there are many of you, several of you, a handful of you, I don't know how many, who keep asking me, isn't there a place where adults can read books and discuss them? Well, we are inviting the parents this year to read the Slingshot books and to discuss them in Brave Learner Home. Only 5 books, not 10. You will have the opportunity to experience a kind of conversation with your peers and with our staff that will help you grow your own ability to be a really great conversationalist around literature. So you might want to buy the Slingshots even for yourself if you are into that kind of thing. But either way, we are going to discuss them as adults in addition to you teaching them to your juniors and seniors in high school. Okay, I think it's time for more confetti because let's get started. You've waited a long time to hear about these books and I am ready to go. Okay, everybody ready? So here we go. We're going to start with August. August only has 1 boomerang. There is no slingshot. So we're going to start with August, the boomerang. See if you can guess what book. This book was adapted to film and released on Netflix in 2019. Maybe during this last COVID year, you might have watched it. When a terrible drought struck a tiny village in Malawi, this main character's family lost all the season's crops, leaving them with nothing to eat and nothing to sell. William began to explore science books in his village library looking for a solution. There, he came up with the idea that would change his family's life forever. He would build a windmill. Do you know what it is? Oh, I see you guys guessing. Made out of scrap metal and old bicycle parts, William's windmill brought electricity to his home and helped his family pump the water they needed to farm the land. Retold for a younger audience, this exciting memoir shows how even in a desperate situation, one boy's brilliant idea can light up the world, complete with photographs, illustrations, and an epilogue that will bring readers up to date on William's story. This is the perfect edition to read and share with the whole family. We introduce you to The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, and this is the Young Readers edition by William Kamkwamba. So we are very excited to share this with your family. Woohoo! All right, so you got it? Take your picture. Okay, this is the boomerang for August. Moving on now to September. All right, the boomerang for September. Let's see if you can guess. First released in Japan in the early 2000s, this title has been adapted to manga and was made into an anime TV series. In 2020, it was adapted for English readers. The US edition of this title was a 2020 Michael L. Prince Award honor book for the best young adult novel. Is that not enough of a clue yet? Okay. Have I hyped it enough? Let's hear about the story. Elin's family has an important responsibility, caring for the fearsome water serpents that form the core of the kingdom's army. So when some of the creatures mysteriously die, Elin's mother is sentenced to death as punishment. With her last breath, she manages to send her daughter to safety. Alone and far from home, Elin soon discovers that she can communicate with both the terrifying water serpents and the majestic flying beasts that guard her queen. This skill gives her great power, but it also involves her in deadly plots that could cost her life. Can she save herself and prevent her beloved beasts from being used as tools of war? Or is there no escaping the terrible battles to come? Introducing The Beast Player. Does anyone know this book? By Nahoko Uehashi. The Beast Player, translated by Kathy Hirano. Gorgeous cover and just a very meaty read. You know, I can picture some of your kids just curled up and taking off with it. So The Beast Player. The September Slingshot, our first book of the 5-book group, goes backward in time to a classic, something that you probably want your kids to read before they head off to college. It has a very famous opening line. It was the blank of times. It was the blank of times. Quick! What is it? That's right. We're talking about A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. This historical novel is set in London and Paris before and during the French Revolution. It tells the story of a French doctor, his 18-year-long imprisonment in the Bastille of Paris, and his release to live in London with his daughter, whom he had never met. The story is set against the conditions that led up to the French Revolution and the Reign of Terror. This tour de force is often considered the best-selling novel of all times. And honestly, there are a lot of Dickens novels out there. I like this one the best. So if you are wondering which one to dive into, go for A Tale of Two Cities. Fabulous. Yay! Okay, then. So what is the October Boomerang? I think this book looks amazing. A refugee and child soldier challenge the rules of war in this coming-of-age novel set against the political and military backdrop of modern-day Burma. Chico isn't a fighter by nature. He's a book-loving Burmese boy whose father, a doctor, is in prison for resisting the government. Tu Ray, on the other hand, wants to fight for freedom after watching Burmese soldiers destroy his Karenni family's home and bamboo fields. When Chico is forced into the Burmese army and subsequently injured on a mission, the boys' lives intersect. Timidity becomes courage, and anger becomes compassion, as both boys discover that everything is not as it seems. Mitali Perkins delivers a touching story about hopes, dreams, and the choices that define who we are. Introducing The Bamboo People by Mitali Perkins. Now, interestingly, I actually have not read this book yet, but it is one of the ones that I tagged that I want to read. My son Jacob actually works with refugees from Myanmar, which is what Burma is now called. And I think this would provide really interesting backdrop story for those of you who are following that crisis currently. So great choice. All right. The next title is a boomerang, and this is for the month of November. Oh, yes, right. I just want to make sure I'm getting these right. Oh, hold on. Dawn, I knew this was going to happen to me. Okay, October was only a boomerang. Now we are in November and we're doing another boomerang. Okay, I get it. Here we go. It's been a hard year for Maisie Cannon ever since she hurt her leg and could not keep up with her ballet training and auditions. Her blended family is loving and supportive, but Maisie knows that they just can't understand how hopeless she feels. With everything she's dealing with, Maisie is not excited for their family midwinter road trip along the coast near the Makah community where her mother grew up. But soon, Maisie's anxieties and dark moods start to hurt as much as the pain in her knee. How can she keep pretending to be strong when on the inside she feels as roiling and cold as the ocean? This is an Own Voices title by Christine Day called The Sea in Winter. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this cover. And I hope that this is a book you look forward to. Woo! November. Okay. Ready? The Slingshot. This is probably my favorite book of the year. I read this book as part of my research in the book I'm currently writing. Don't worry if you've missed anything. We're going to review them all at the end. So don't worry. Okay, here we go. The Slingshot for November. Let's see if you can guess what it is. Drawing on her life as an Indigenous scientist and as a woman, this author shows how other living beings, asters and goldenrods, strawberries and squash, salamanders, algae, and sweetgrass, offer us gifts and lessons, even if we've forgotten how to hear their voices. In reflections that range from the creation of Turtle Island to the forces that threaten its flourishing today, Robin Wall Kimmerer circles toward a central argument that the awakening of ecological consciousness requires the acknowledgement and celebration of our reciprocal relationship with the rest of the living world. Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Now, let me just tell you, this book is magic. It is lyrical, insightful, scientific. It also weaves in sort of a poetic vision. Robin is no slouch. She is actually a university professor, but she draws on her Native American heritage and brings this, she braids them together. It's the perfect way to put it, and creates just such a depth of appreciation for the world we inhabit. I come away moved every single time I open its pages. So whether you have a teen or not, I recommend reading this book as a grown-up. It's so good. Okay. Did I sell it enough? Yes. Misty says it's one of the most beautiful books she's ever read. Totally agreed. Jenny had her as a professor. Are you kidding me, Jenny? Okay. You and I are going to have to talk because that is remarkable. Remarkable. Yeah, she is quite a fine writer and such an insightful thinker. You will just love it. It's so good. Also, I have it on audiobook, and listening to her soothing voice and her pronunciation of all of the various Native American terminology is a delight. Okay, December. December has a boomerang, and that boomerang is this. What do Stephen Crane, Kate Chopin, Willa Cather, and Sherwood Anderson all have in common? They have all written American short stories that are featured in our next title. This anthology features 19 of the finest works from some of the most distinguished writers in American short story tradition. For this boomerang, we are going to read The Bride Comes to Yellow Sky by Stephen Crane, A Pair of Silk Stockings by Kate Chopin, Paul's Case by Willa Cather, and The Egg by Sherwood Anderson. But here's what's fun. You can read other short stories that are already in this volume. If you feel like you've had a dearth of classical English 10, English 11, English 12, this is a great resource for you. And of course, you may not know this, but the short story is one of my favorite genres of writing. I was on a huge short story kick for about 5 years, and you're going to love this book. It'll be fun for you. All righty. Well, I think because we are now at December, it is time for more confetti. We're getting ready for January 2022. The new year is here. Woo! Okay, you ready? Yay. Oops. Oh, no. Don't ask again. Sorry. Okay, here we go. January. The Boomerang. Morgan and Eli, two Indigenous children forced away from their families and communities, are brought together in a foster home in Winnipeg, Manitoba. They each feel disconnected from their culture and each other and struggle to fit in at school and at their new home, until they find a secret place walled off in an unfinished attic bedroom. A portal opens to another reality, ASCII, bringing them onto frozen, barren grounds where they meet Ochek, who's a fisher, the only hunter supporting his starving community, Misua. Ochek welcomes the human children, teaching them traditional ways to survive. But as the need for food becomes desperate, they embark on a dangerous mission, accompanied by Eric, a sassy squirrel they catch stealing from the trapline. They try to save Misua before the icy grip of winter freezes everything, including them. Another Own Voices title, The Barren Grounds by David A. Robertson. Hey, we've got some Winnipeg families in the house. That's exciting. I love it. Beautiful cover, beautiful book. Everybody got it? All right. So that's for January for the Boomerang. What about January for the Slingshot? Now, I'm sorry to keep using these superlatives, but this year is such a banner year for books. And this next book was massively valuable to me. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I love the author. I've read almost everything she's written. So I hope that you will find this title equally exciting to read and to talk about. Okay, you ready? Set in South Carolina in 1964, this novel tells the story of Lily Owens, whose life has been shaped around the blurred memory of the afternoon her mother was killed. When Lily's fierce-hearted stand-in mother, Rosaline, insults 3 of the racists in town, Lily decides to spring them both free. They escape to Tiburon, South Carolina, a town that holds the secret to her mother's past. Taken in by an eccentric trio of Black beekeeping sisters, Lily is introduced to their mesmerizing world of bees and honey. This is a remarkable novel about female power, a story that women will share and pass on to their daughters for years to come. The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. And of course, there's a movie, so you can do like movie night too, but it's such a beautiful book, so lyrically written. I think you'll read it in an afternoon. It's one of those page turners you can't stop. So yay, Slingshot. Okay. Next one, February. We are rolling along here perfectly. This book features a group of women who did not get enough recognition for their massive contributions to our space program. Before John Glenn orbited the Earth or Neil Armstrong walked on the moon, a group of dedicated female mathematicians known as human computers used pencils, slide rules, and adding machines to calculate the numbers that would launch rockets and astronauts into space. This book brings to life the stories of Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, Katherine Johnson, and Christine Darden, who lived through the civil rights era, the space race, the Cold War, and the movement for gender equality, and whose work forever changed the face of NASA and the country. This is Hidden Figures, the Young Readers Edition by Margot Lee Shetterly. This is a boomerang, a boomerang. That's right, you guys are great. You're so good at guessing. So yes, this is a fabulous book. Also has a movie. So that's another thing to look forward to. All right. Moving on to March, where we have a boomerang and a slingshot. March, ready? This guy understands stories, comic book stories in particular. Big action, bigger thrills, and the hero always wins. But this guy doesn't get sports. As a kid, his friends called him Stick, and every basketball game he played ended in pain. He lost interest in basketball long ago, but at the high school where he now teaches, it's all anyone can talk about. The men's varsity team, the Dragons, is having a phenomenal season that's been decades in the making. Each victory brings them closer to their ultimate goal, the California State Championships. Once Gene gets to know these young all-stars, he realizes that their story is just as thrilling as anything he's seen on a comic book page. He knows he has to follow this epic to the end. What he doesn't know yet is that this season is not only going to change the Dragons' lives, but his own as well. A perfect title for March Madness, Dragon Hoops by Jean Lewin Yang. And this is an award winner. It is an honor book for the Michael L. Prince Award. Very cool cover art. And I don't know about you, I'm a huge sports fan. So any sports books has me reading. It is a graphic novel. I mean, come on. How awesome is this book? So that's going to be a really fun title for your teens, I would assume. Okay, here we go. We have a slingshot for March. And this book, pretty familiar to like everyone, okay? But I'm excited to share it with you. This book was originally published all the way back in 1954 in the UK. It's the first of a 3-volume set. It involves a journey and a ring. Yeah, of course, you've got it. And 9 companions. Okay, you already know what this one is. In ancient times, the rings of power were crafted by the elven smiths, and Sauron, the Dark Lord, forged the One Ring, filling it with his own powers so that he could rule all others. But the One Ring was taken from him, and though he sought it throughout Middle-earth, it remained lost to him. After many ages, it fell into the hands of Bilbo Baggins, as told in The Hobbit. In a sleepy village in the Shire, young Frodo Baggins finds himself faced with an immense task as his elderly cousin Bilbo entrusts the ring to his care. Frodo must leave his home and make a perilous journey across Middle-earth to the Cracks of Doom, there to destroy the ring and foil the Dark Lord in his evil purpose. Of course, it is Lord of the Rings, Volume 1, The Fellowship of the Ring, which also happens to have a trilogy movie plus a 3-parter of The Hobbit. Whenever my kids are home at Thanksgiving, we always have to watch the extended edition of all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, right? And I had the good pleasure of actually visiting the set of the Shire when I got to speak in New Zealand 2 years ago. I hope to share some of those photos inside Brave Learner Home when we get about reading it. Such a great book. So excited for you guys to read it. Yay! Okay, so that's Fellowship of the Ring, the Slingshot for March. All right, now on to April. I think we need more confetti. I'm getting tired. I want these to stay interesting. All right, here we go. Let's get the energy back up because this next one. Okay, that's a hint. Not a very good hint, but it's a hint. Here we go. Thousands of young Navy sailors are pouring into Los Angeles on their way to the front lines of World War II. They are teenagers, scared, longing to feel alive before they have to face the horrors of battle. Hot jazz music, which is what this was pretending to be, spiced with cool salsa rhythms, beckons them to dance with the local Mexican-American girls who jitterbug all night before working all day in the canneries. Proud to do their part for the war effort, these jazz owl girls are happy to dance with the sailors until the blazing summer night when racial violence leads to murder. Suddenly, the young white sailors are attacking the girls' brothers and boyfriends. The cool, loose zoot suits they wear are supposedly the reason for the violence. In soaring images and searing poems, this is the breathtaking story of what became known as the Zoot Suit Riots. Here's your boomerang for April, Jazz Owls, a novel of the Zoot Suit Riots by Margarita Engel. I know, I think this seems like an incredible story. And as you can see, it's written mostly in verse. So it is not a super long title, but really packed with a lot of beautiful writing. Okay, Jazz Owls, we ready? All right, we have made it to May, the last 2 books. So let's do our final. Okay, I think this is where, well, we'll save that for the very end. We have 2 more books. May. Woo! The Boomerang. I just need to tell you that this book was slated for a year ago, and then we had to remove it from the list at the last minute for a very good reason. And I think you're going to know why in about 3, 2, 1. During the summer of 1793, Maddie Cook lives above the family coffee shop with her widowed mother and grandfather. Maddie spends her days avoiding chores and making plans to turn the family business into the finest Philadelphia has ever seen. But then the fever breaks out. I mean, right? You couldn't have read this book last year. All right. Disease sweeps the streets, destroying everything in its path and turning Maddie's world upside down. At her feverish mother's insistence, Maddie flees the city with her grandfather, but she soon discovers that the sickness is everywhere, and Maddie must learn quickly how to survive in a city turned frantic with disease. I think this is going to be such a fascinating title to read. A whole, another whole year out from COVID, and really fascinating with your family. Fever 1793 by Lori Halsa Anderson is this book. It has some confetti in it. So this is for May of 2022. And then our very final book in our fourth our fourth of the 4 programs, Dart, Arrow, Boomerang, Slingshot. So our last book for the Slingshot level is written by one of my favorite YA authors. And it's our second book by him in our lineup because we can't stop falling in love with everything he writes. Are you ready? Best friends Noah and Walt are far from popular, but Walt is convinced junior year is their year. And he has a plan that includes wooing the girls of their dreams and becoming amazing athletes. Never mind, he and Noah failed to make their baseball team yet again. And Noah's crush since 3rd grade has him firmly in the friend zone. While Walt focuses on his program of jazz, podcasts, batting cages, and a hug life mentality, Noah feels stuck in the status quo until he stumbles on a stash of old love letters. Each one contains words Noah always wanted to say to Sam, and he begins secretly creating artwork using the lines that speak his heart. But when his heart becomes public, Noah has a decision to make. Continue his life in the dugout and possibly lose his girl forever, or take a swing and finally speak out. At the same time, American flags are being left around town. While some think it's a harmless prank and others see it as a form of protest, Noah can't shake the feeling that something bigger is happening to his community, especially after he witnesses events that hint at divides and prejudices that run deeper than he realized. As the personal and social tensions increase around them, Noah and Walt must decide what is really important when it comes to love, friendship, sacrifice, and fate. Introducing Swing by Kwame Alexander with Mary Rand Hess. Who else is a huge fan of Kwame? Anybody? He also writes in verse, and his writing is so compelling. He has this contemporary style where you start one page and the next thing you know, you're 30 pages in because it just moves. It's compelling. It keeps you going. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kwame. If you are not following him on Instagram, you should. I got a chance to meet him. I've interviewed him. He is authentic. He is who he is. His writing is brilliant. So those are the Slingshots. Oh my gosh, it is time for the ceremonial dropping of confetti on the head. Ready? Wah! We did it, we did it, we did it. I'm exhausted. These 2 days have taken it all out of me, but I am so thrilled to be able to share these programs with you. So let me review. I'm going to show you in quick time all the boomerangs, and then we'll do all of the slingshots. So here we go. I have to flip them over. Let's see if I can do it without dropping them. Okay. All right. So August, the boy who harnessed the wind. September, the beast player. October, bamboo people. November, the sea in winter. December, the barren grounds. January, hidden figures. February, am I right? Uh-oh, I think I'm out of step. March is dragon hoops. Did I put, I think I forgot one. Oh my God. You know what? I see the list. I forgot to put in the short stories. Jazz Owls. And finally, Fever, 1793. Yeah, the short stories is in there. I put it in the wrong stack. I told Dawn this was going to test my puzzle abilities, and sure enough, I just proved that. But Dawn posted the whole list, so you can see it there. Here are the short stories that I left out. Okay. And now for the slingshot. September, A Tale of Two Cities. November, Braiding Sweetgrass. January, The Secret Life of Bees. March, The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. And then finally in May, Swing. Okay, so here's what you need to know. If you purchase the entire program of the Boomerang, you will be automatically added for free for a lifetime to our membership community, Brave Learner Home. If you purchase Slingshot plus Help for High School in our college prep bundle, which is the same price, $129, you will have an entire year-long writing and reading program for your high schooler. Like, you won't need anything else. And that also gets you into Brave Learner Home, okay? The Boomerang for a year is $129. The college prep bundle is $129, and it lasts for a whole year. The adult Slingshot book conversation will happen inside the community discussion board at Brave Learner Home, and it will be during the months that those books are being taught. So it will be September and November and January and March and May, okay? And each of all of these products, the boomerangs, the slingshots, the arrows, the darts, they're all released on the first of the month for the month of their slated publication. So if it's slated for January, it will come out on January 1st, even though that's New Year's Day. If it is slated for March, it will come out on March 1st, okay? So that's how it all works. And when you go to purchase, you will automatically be added to the Brave Learner Home. You will be invited through an email that comes to you immediately after you purchase to create a Brave Writer account. This is where you'll log in to pick up your boomerang or to pick up your slingshot on the first of each month. It is also how you access the Brave Learner Home. If you take online writing classes with us, that is a completely separate login and a separate part of the website. So I just want to be clear about that so that you don't think, oh, I already have a login. You actually don't, unless you're already in Brave Learner Home or have purchased the arrow, the dart, the boomerang from previous years, okay? The parent book discussions are typed. Now, who knows? Maybe we will have a Zoom discussion if that's what you really want, because we can do anything we want in Brave Learner Home. But initially, what we thought we would do is we would open it up for the month and we would have typewritten interaction around the books. And that's how we do everything. We like the asynchronous way of interacting so that you can come at a time that's convenient for you. You're not distracted by your children. You have time to read, ponder, come back, and respond. The difference between a boomerang and a slingshot guide, the handbook, there's really no difference, just the subject matter. Now, at the end of each boomerang and each slingshot, we give you some book club party ideas. And for the slingshot level, you know, we're a little more careful. We don't want it to be cutesy in any way. It's more like a book gathering. Even for the boomerang, that's somewhat true. And the goal of both of those products is to guide you in this deeper literary analysis so that you don't feel like you're just reading a book and doing copy work. There's a little more substance around the themes and the ideas that these books are meant to cause you to ponder. So I hope that makes sense. Now, the dart, the arrow, the boomerang, and the slingshot are now all on sale in our store. The book list will be posted on those pages so you can go back and easily see them. I will be sharing them on social media. If you follow me at Julie Brave Writer on Instagram, that will go up now. We'll share them on Facebook. There's no shortage of places where we will show you those books. One thing I forgot to mention yesterday, and I want to bring up right now, is that when you go into our space, We have affiliate links with Amazon to purchase the books, but we also are adding a link, and Dawn can tell me if it's already up, to be able to purchase them through Sharnay Gordon's Here We Read bookshop.org space. She is a diversity and inclusion expert, someone whose work we really value and love. And so we are also, for those of you who don't like Amazon and would much rather shop with independent bookstores or whatever, you can use that link. The proceeds go to her, not to us. That's just another way we're trying to give back into the community. The Here We Read link will be up by the end of the day. So that's something just for you. We are working very hard this year to give you options, to let you participate in our values, to show up and be the awesome, amazing community that you are. We are so honored that you share our work with other people, that you take time out of your busy lives to write us notes of appreciation. I have been flooded with them this week to the point of tears. We take this work very seriously. Dawn, our director of publishing, is the one who literally picked all these books. She read 100 books to select the 35 that make up these 4 levels. She went to training courses to understand literature selections. It's this jigsaw puzzle of protagonists, genre, variety of authors, variety of protagonists' voices, so that you will have this really rich intersection of experiences, both from reading, in your imaginations, in your understanding of history, all of the things we care about as home educators. So thank you, like from the bottom of my heart, for being the kind of community that values the work we do and then is sharing that with your kids. It's a complete privilege and honor. For those of you on Facebook, if we didn't get to your question, we will happily answer it in the days coming because your questions stay on that page. The replay of this very episode will immediately post on Facebook. For those of you who are watching on Zoom, you will get a replay link within 24 hours. And then we will obviously be hosting replay links on our blog and in all our social spaces. So if you want to share this with your families again or later, you will have access. If you're watching on replay, hello, thanks for being here. Okay, everybody, I think that's it. Thank you again for joining me live and making this week such a joy for all of us here at Brave Writer. Have a fabulous rest of the week, and we'll see you online.